Hi, beautiful. Today we are talking about being out of a state of resistance when it comes to your upgrades. And by upgrades, I mean things you're noticing as you upgrade into your full capacity, as you realize more and more of your authentic, true nature, of your capacity to be a fully embodied, expanded, the highest version of yourself. And on a practical, grounded level, what this may look like is food intolerances, food allergies, maybe different kinds of detox symptoms like digestive issues or feeling tired at times. I'm not speaking about chronic fatigue necessarily, but for example, if you're experiencing some fatigue as you dial in your healthy diet, you dial in your lifestyle, you are maybe amping up your fitness routine more, or you are sharing in a greater capacity your most heartfelt, soulful, soul purpose gifts. Maybe you are a new parent, you're stepping into a new role, you're otherwise stepping into and more fully embodying an expansive energy, a more expanded version of you. Ultimately, this is awesome. I think we're all here to do this. We're all here blessed with different talents, different abilities, different creative strengths. We have something to share with the world through our being, through our energy, through with how we interact with others, engage with others, share energy with others, and create as human beings. So I'll just use a bit of my life as an example to ground these ideas into something more tangible and real, and speaking from my experience feels the most authentic to me. So I've been on a low-fat, raw vegan journey at least the last 4 or 5 years, and I've been fully raw for the past 7 or 8 months now, and I've intuitively let go of different things, salt being one of them, and what else? Roasted nuts and seeds at times were kind of like a gray area for me. I would allow them at times in a pinch, not on a day-to-day basis, but if I were to buy something like roasted tahini, for example, or unsalted tahini that I knew had been roasted, this wasn't problematic for me. But, more time goes on this path, and I'm naturally gravitating towards cleaner and cleaner, higher vibration, truly 100% raw foods, as well as letting go of the salt, which is more optimal for my dosha, which is Pitta predominant. Pitta and Kapha doshas are not awesome with the salt. Experiment with this. If you're either of those doshas, you might be Vata dosha and you do fine with salt. You might be Vata dosha and do terrible with salt. But I find in myself, I tend to retain water and I don't feel my very best when I am consuming salt. So I actually shot this in my What I Eat in a Day video. I had some of this raw vegan kimchi that has some sea salt in it. It had been fermenting in my fridge for a couple months because I haven't been eating it. I haven't been drawn to it. And the other day I was kind of like, I want to go through some of these condiments that I have that are technically raw, but I haven't been using because I've been eating really, really simply, really, really clean, really, really high vibration, truly fruits and vegetables, and then like some avocado or crackers that I make from my recipe book, Raw Food Ayurveda Volume 2, shameless plug right here. And there it is. Get yours in the description. Thank you very much. So anyways, I had that kimchi in my What I Eat in a Day video, and I'm like, this is what works for me. Well, lo and behold, y'all, it didn't work for me. And I showed the raw tahini, but I had a bit of a cooked unsalted tahini that was from roasted seeds, which in the past it was fine. It drizzles really nicely. And I used some of that. Well, y'all, the next day, I didn't feel good. I really didn't feel good. And it's not like I ate something that was super unhealthy or like fried food or something, you know, a big piece of, or a big bucket of fried chicken with biscuits and gravy or whatever the worst food you could possibly think of. And that's all relative for all of us. But you know, for most people, eating a little bit of unsalted, you know, roasted tahini and some of this real raw vegan kimchi, not a big deal, probably fine. But for me, I felt tired the next day. I felt congested and mucusy. I noticed I was puffy. I was just tired and like I felt heavy. I felt drained. I was thirstier. I was not as tolerant of the heat, and pitta was aggravated. I was noticing loose bowels and gurgling in my stomach, undigested food coming out, diarrhea. So truly a pitta aggravated kind of state. And tahini, sesame seeds, are something that is heating and not typically recommended for pitta, although I tend to tolerate it when I'm eating the actual raw tahini, which can be harder to find and more expensive. So instead of being like upset about this and being like, I can't eat raw kimchi or I can't eat salt from time to time, I'm just taking this as an opportunity to be like, well, I'm not gonna eat salt in any of the food that I make at home. I'm gonna let go of all the condiments that I have that have salt in them. And so I did that immediately. There are only a couple. There was like some mustard that also wasn't raw and did include salt in it. So I let go of those condiments and I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is where I'm at. Like my body is this clean and this on point, and I feel so grateful for all the work I've done to make sure that my diet is optimal, and I want to take care of my body. It's upgrading my DNA, my cells. They are only wanting the very highest vibe foods, and I'm choosing to be like, yes, let's do that. Like, I'm ready, I'm on board, instead of being like deprivation mode. I wish I could just be like everybody else and blah blah blah. Does this mean I'll never ever have salt again? No. You know, I do plan to eat at raw food restaurants in the future because I enjoy checking them out. Will I ask for no salt at those restaurants? Yes, but sometimes I understand there are different things that are like, you know, pre-made or made in batches that they can't take the salt out of it. But I will always make an effort to choose and order the salt-free dishes. And as for the tahini, yeah, it's like, man, I like that other tahini, but my body doesn't. So I'm letting go of that, you know, it's okay. There are replacements. And again, this is just an opportunity to be grateful for the work I've done, the consistency I've done with really honing in my diet and my lifestyle and my self-care, and appreciating the amazing results that I'm getting, the clarity, the lightness, the feeling comfortable in my own skin, feeling comfortable and embodied in this beautiful body that I get to care for the length of my lifetime and my experience on earth. So that is pretty dang rad. And also I've noticed different periods of time as I'm stepping into a more expanded space in terms of my career and what I'm offering and sharing on social media, creative projects, my books, retreat chefing, health coaching, all of these different things that I am expanding into, growing this channel, growing more of a presence on social media, sharing more of myself and my life and my message and my truth. I have noticed I have different periods where I get really tired. I might even get headaches, something like that. and just rolling with it and knowing that they will pass, and taking rest when I need rest as much as possible, and being grateful to myself for creating the space for myself to rest in those moments, and not judging myself as much as possible, not being like, you should be doing more, or you need to just push through it, or whatever. It's like, no, forget that. That's old programming. I want new programming. I want to program in the highest vibe, most compassionate, loving, friendly to myself, friendly to others kind of way. So I hope this video was helpful to you, y'all. Don't resist your upgrades. Look at them as upgrades, not deprivations, and just think about it as dialing in your lifestyle more and more, and not being like a restrictive thing or a punishing thing or anything like that. And forget this whole like, I want to be like everything else thing. No, I want to be like me. I want to be the most me I can possibly be. So boom. Like this video if you like it, subscribe for more, check out the links in the description for my books, and much love to you. Take care. Namaste.